Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of High Scores, High Stakes, the podcast that thinks it's the Avengers Infinity War, but it's actually Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Luvva. With me is my compatriot and good friend, Tomahawk. How about you, mate?
Good evening, lover. How are we today?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I've had better days, but I've had worse ones, and it's nearly over.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's nearly Friday. Yeah, let's go.
Yo, woo.
Let's go. Yeah, I don't know about you, mate, but I haven't actually been playing that much this week. But what I have been playing has actually been very, very, very good. So tell me, mate, what have you been playing now that what you finished last week? Jedi Fallen Order?
No, that was Cardinal. He finished Fallen. Well, it said off chat that he had finished Fallen Order. I had actually just finished Miles Morales, so
That's right. Well, what'd you
that's
think?
done and ticked off. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, I think I have beef with Miles Morales as a character. I just
Okay.
think that maybe he's just is he's a bit too intense for my liking, but. When you zone out, you don't have to worry so much about that. I'm just more about the story and the in-game mechanics, and it was excellent. It's got
It
me
is.
really, really nicely hyped and set up for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of just I took another hour or two after the story finished just to kind of decompress and get a few wee bits and pieces done, and then just was like, actually, I've got Alan Wake
See,
queued and ready to go. So
yeah, see, I was the same with Miles Morales. I loved Spider-Man, and I really, really, really enjoyed Miles Morales. I actually think, in some ways, Miles Morales is better than Spider-Man, and otherwise it's a lot worse. But when I finished Miles Morales, I was like, okay, let's move on. Whereas with Spider-Man, I did everything in the game, just everything. Whereas in Miles Morales, I've never went back to it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought the story was amazing, and I liked the whole dynamic between Miles and the villain whose name escapes
the
me.
Tinkerer.
Yes, thank you. It was so
The
good.
single worst. It's the single worst name for a villain as well. That's the
Well,
only thing I would say about it. It's like,
isn't
oh,
it?
I'm the Tinkerer, man.
Isn't there one called Polka Dot Man somewhere?
The Spot.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So there's a Spot in Spider-Man, and I think Polka Dot Man is in Suicide Squad, and he is equally as
yeah.
bad.
And
But
Boomerang guy.
but the Spot, I think he owns it. I think he just kind of. I think there's a line from what I've seen in the new Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse
Mm-hmm.
movie. He's like, when you look like this, you could only turn to a life of crime.
Oh, that's great. That is great. But yeah, Miles Morales
So
then.
yeah.
So better or worse than the original Spider-Man for you? Because I know you're not a hater of Spider-Man, but you're not by the same token, you're not the biggest fan of
Oh,
it
I
either.
loved it. Like, I really loved it. No, I just think it was more of the same. It's a different character skin, but I think what they've gone and done is they've tweaked him
Mm-hmm.
ever so slightly, and I think his web slinging and his combat just felt far smoother, far more organic, and it ran great. Apart from one moment where I fell through the building,
Oh dear.
but
Oh
yeah.
dear. Don't you hate when that happens?
Just, I think I put it up on Twitter as well. There was just that glass case of emotion moment, but it looked cool. So
Yeah. I hate that. I didn't see none of that. Actually, my Miles Morales playthrough was really, really smooth. Nothing at all. I think there was one bit where I did. It's near the start of the game. You fight your way into a warehouse and you have to clear the warehouse out, and then you find the hidden room at the back of the warehouse.
oh
Whereas
yes, yes.
when the first time I played it, I beat all the goons and the door never opened so I had to restart
Okay, okay.
the whole encounter again, and then it opened. It's like, oh yeah, of course, because you're stuck inside.
No, I did have a few moments with it though. I think maybe it's me playing it, maybe it's how Insomniac wants you to play games. Is that there's moments where you have to use like certain skills, like you have to tether your webs to like
Hmm.
power generators and stuff. I constantly was just forgetting how to actually
Do it.
prompt that command and do it. And and even looking through the moveset, it's not there.
Okay.
So I found it really strange, and like I actually had to go to Google on my phone and go, "How do you tether webs?" And they were like, it's trigger and R1." And I'm like, "How am I gonna remember?" I remember that 4 hours ago in the tutorial for that first time using it.
Mm.
Just it's silly, just silly wee things. I think it's just like random gripes on my part more so rather than the game itself.
Yeah, yeah. But I suppose it's one of those things that you played it straight through, did you? You didn't have like a gap of
Yeah,
starting it and then. Because usually
no, I
that's
just
whenever I go back to
powered
a
through it.
game after a big while, it's like, flip, what am I? What's the controls? What am I doing?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, Insomniac they do like just to leave you alone and let you just get on with it, don't they? Just like
that's it.
here's the skills at the start. Here's what you need to use, and then when you sort of drips and drabs, you get like new spider venom sort of abilities. Isn't that what's called in it? The electric shocks, spider bite or something, or
Yeah,
spider
I
venom.
just called it Venom Blast. Yeah, I thought
Aye,
it was
and all that. It'll sort of say to do this, and then that's it. It'll just leave you alone forever after that.
they show you the one time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think, to be fair, when you show you the big full Venom Blast where you kind of can take out like 6 or 7 enemies at a time, I just overpowered on that
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
At the end of it, I was like, "Yep, gonna fight. I'm not even gonna bother stealthing. I'm just gonna super Venom everyone."
Why not?
Bosh.
It's there. That's what's for. Cheese your way through the
But
game.
that's it. So that's done and put to bed now. So I did start playing Alan Wake there, but it's kind of just 5-10 minutes. I've got the keys to the cabin, and I just forget how the game throws you straight into it.
Oh, there's no kissing, like
There's
it's straight
no
in.
messing about. Love it. I,
It's a great game.
it's great, and it's actually like I sort of had reservation that that remaster might be a bit clunky.
Hmm.
No, it's class. It feels maybe it's just the controls. Maybe it's because you're not playing like an action hero. You're playing a rider.
Hmm. Hmm.
It feels like you're a rider. It doesn't feel like
Yeah,
you're this big buff superhero moving around like
yeah,
so.
kind of like that Silent Hill vibe where he swings really slowly, he spins around really slowly. Yes, I love that. I love when games do
Yeah,
that, where it's
it's
like you're
really
not
good.
this action hero, you're a author
You can't
of.
turn on a penny like yeah.
Yeah, is it still? I've got a couple of questions. Number one, is it a big graphical upgrade? Because Alan Wake was a good looking game back in the day.
I don't think it's much. It's just a fresh. It's a bit of a polish.
Yeah.
I do also feel as if they don't really know how humans interact.
Okay.
That's kind of the only thing that I think was beef from episode 1 as well.
Yeah. See, that's the vibe I always got from it as well. But I think that was intentional, surely, wasn't it? It was like the Twin Peaks sort of vibe where I don't know if you've ever
Everyone's
seen
kind
Twin
of
Peaks, like, but yeah, everything's weird. Everything's
everyone's
off.
in this like trance and everything's a bit different. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you there.
Yep. And number
Um,
two, is it still Duracell batteries for your
I haven't
torch?
noticed. Oh, I have not noticed.
Because it used to be, remember, it used to, like, you found two Duracells, remember?
I think it just prompts you and says
Or
that
was
you've
it,
picked up batteries,
or
but I
was it
haven't
Energizer? It
actually.
was definitely branded, but I'm pretty sure it was Duracell.
Oh, I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for it.
Yes, keep an eye out for it because that's one thing. It's always I was like, I wonder if they kept the the licensing of the
TBC,
batteries. What a random thing to license in any video game.
TBC on that one. But yeah, I'll get back to you on
Get
that
back
one.
to me on that one because that's a very important question. That's the one the viewers all want to know. Is it
That's it.
still
Absolutely.
licensed batteries in That's a random thing.
Crazy.
It's completely random. Like
Fair play.
actually,
What about yourself, Luvva? Then what have I this last week? What have we been playing? What have we been delving into? Then
yeah,
that's not Street Fighter. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to say Street
okay, I
Fighter
won't say
though.
Street. I have been playing Street Fighter, but I have been playing Street Fighter. I have been playing Sunset Overdrive as well. That's great. Like I've done a
Nice.
couple of bosses now. The bosses are fantastic, and they're not like your normal sort of bosses. So they're not. So the first one's a big, massive blimp, and the
Okay.
second one is this dragon, but you have to grind up the dragon's spine.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but other than that, I started, downloaded it and played not the whole way through the Final Fantasy 16 demo.
Oh, very good. How's that? How's that
Uh,
looking then?
Unreal. Yeah, it's
I
really,
I
it's
I
really
never really
good.
struck you for Final Fantasy buff.
I'm
Really,
not.
just is it purely a case of it's there, let's play it?
I, to be fair, like I used to be way back in the day. Like I used to be massive into RPGs, like just because they were new and I'd never played one before. Like really, never really played one before Final Fantasy 7 on
Yeah.
PlayStation. So that sort of whetted the appetite. So I played through all the Final Fantasies on
Okay.
PlayStation, and then just played through a whole load of other ones, like the Sony ones, like Legend of Dragoon and Wild Arms and um, all this here business. It was just a great console for, but then yeah, it just as you go on, your tastes change, and I kind of fell out with RPGs. Like, so it did. I used to love them, absolutely love them. But no, then I started a couple of years back. You remember I started playing Kingdom Hearts,
Oh yes,
and then
yes,
just
very obsessed.
saw all the gameplay and stuff for Final Fantasy 16 just looked great, and there's demo, so I was like, why not?
Yeah,
And
no, it's on my download list anyway. So if Fallon Wake starts to get a bit, I don't know, not I don't want to say flat, but if he starts to just hit a
yeah,
brick wall on it, that might be a nice wee palate cleanser just to
yeah.
jump
I
into.
mean,
Look,
apparently the demo is an old build for Final Fantasy,
okay,
so the performance isn't fantastic. Shall we say it's good? But it does. There's a whole heap of issues. Like, but it starts off just. I thought it was a full motion video. I thought it was like an intro video, and then all of a sudden these on-screen prompts pop up and tell you how to control it, and you're like, what?
all right, okay.
What?
Is this one of those games that are gonna do this seamless,
It's
no loading screen
honestly,
jargon?
it looks it's stunning, and the one thing that jumped out at me was one, how good it looked, two, how good it plays, but three, the music is just awesome. The music is just incredible. The whole thing,
Yeah.
it's just it, no, I think it's the first couple of chapters of the game, the demo. I haven't played through the whole thing. Basically played through the prologue. So the first 40 minutes is a lot of sitting there watching things being said.
Okay.
But once the game allows you just to play it, oh, it's like everything Kingdom Hearts was trying to do 20 years ago is now all of a sudden here. And it's just the battling system is just it's so much fun. It's restrictive in one way. So every time you're battling, it's an arena, and you can run around the arena. But it's just it looks mind blowing. Like it looks mind blowing, and it's really quite. The battles are really smooth until there's certain effects you can do, and it's when there's a lot going on, it tanks. Like performance
Oh, okay.
tanks, but it is like apparently it's like a year old build. It was the build they showed last year.
It's an old revision then, as
But
opposed to
like a
final product.
this is what you can expect from this game type demo. Yeah, think I think it might be a day one. I think it
No
might be a
way.
day. Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's ridiculously. It's good. It's really good. It's really involving.
Is this on PS5 or Steam Deck?
PS5.
PS5.
It's a game that it needs to be. I think I'm going to make a decision. My decision is AAA games, PlayStation. Anything
Yeah.
like heavy multiplayer, so like fighting games. So I'm seriously considering Tekken 8 on the Steam Deck as well. So I am, just because
Okay.
Street Fighter 6 runs fantastically on it. So I'm thinking anything graphical showpieces like Final Fantasy and stuff. Yeah, it'll be definitely PlayStation, 100% PlayStation, because it just looks.
Nice one.
It's a really good demo. And I haven't finished yet, and I've been watching some like reactions of people online when they finish it, and the whole range of emotions. There's people been crying about how good this game
No
is, and
way.
mate, I'm not.
Oh,
I said it. I said it. I think it was last episode, maybe the episode before. It has Game of the Year written all over it.
uh-huh.
It really does. I think it could be the Japanese role playing game of all time. It's just the
No, I'll have
demo's
to get on
great.
that then.
The
I'll
demo's
have to get
great.
that prepped.
It's
It's not
PS5
like
only
a.
though.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay.
It's
Well,
PS5
actually,
only.
that being said, at time of record, I should have a PS5 at the end of the month.
Yes. Yes. At
One of us.
last.
One of us.
Are you going all digital?
I'm just gonna go. I think so. Because I was going back through my physical catalog. I'm not playing anything.
You're not playing anything.
Really, anything that I have, I finished. I finished several times, so I'm kind of not. I'm not bound by
Yeah.
physical this time around.
Yeah, I think I got. I've got a load of games sitting upstairs that have still in the shrink wrap, like because I bought my PS4 and never got time to play them.
Yeah.
But like the only desk at speed of my PlayStation 5 is Gran Turismo 7. That's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the only desk at speed in mine, and It's just like, meh, do I need it?
I think the way that the Plus catalog has just evolved over that last year or so, you don't need
It's
you don't
been
need it.
ridiculous. Can I
Hmm.
just say that right now? PlayStation, everyone's been banging on for a couple of years about how, what do you call it? Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. PlayStation Plus is swiftly catching up, if not taking over. The
Yeah.
value is just frightening. Like,
Of everything that's
frightening.
there, I blow my mind every time I look at what's available and
Yeah.
even the amount that you're getting that are PS4 to PS5 port as well.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get that. You'll notice that jump in quality. I would imagine anyway, and then you still have a plethora. Like it's not an outdated console, the PS4 by any stretch. There's
No,
still
nowhere near.
fantastic looking games on it.
It's nowhere near. It's just when I sort of I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5 type thing. When I was buying games, I was buying like the PS4, PS5 bundles, where you get both versions. But I
Ah,
haven't
yeah.
of all of them I bought, and I bought tons of them. I think I've actually had to put in the code for one game, and it was Gran
Oh,
Turismo,
really?
and the rest of them have just been made available. They've
There's a
been made
lot of
available.
set piece one. I would say it's the same thing as what you say. It's the triple A's. It's the sort of big racers and stuff like that. That you'll notice the big jump in quality. And then you've got the likes of Dead Space there remastered specifically for PS5 as well. So I think there's where you'll notice it. But other than that, when games kind of just have
PS5
play
version.
it on the
In
PS5. Yeah.
in saying that, Resident Evil 2 PS5 version to big old jump like looks great.
All right.
Mm.
Nah.
It's not like it won't change your life or anything like that, but it's smoother gameplay, or at least it felt like it anyway to me. So it did, but yeah, but that's it. Mostly Street Fighter, but Final Fantasy. I think it might be bad Final Fantasy. So I do. It's either that or AEW, but probably gonna be fun. Probably gonna be Final Fantasy. Probably
Oh,
gonna
I'm
be.
sorry, Sherry made an appearance here today.
I
Talking
know,
about
right?
Final
It's all his wee videos. The one I saw last night, it's like that looks. Honestly, it looks good.
It looks good.
It looks good.
It
It's
looks
just the
really
game.
good. I think it's a wrestling game that doesn't take itself seriously.
Yes, yes, and that's what
Yeah.
we've been missing. As good as Fire Pro World is, I want a game like No Mercy. I want a game like No Mercy. That's all they have to do. It's remake No Mercy with great graphics. But shall we get to what we're doing this week, mate?
Let's do it.
Let's
I
do
think
it.
so.
Yeah, so this week in this side quest, we're doing something a bit different. So we are. So basically, what we're going to be doing this week is we are going to be creating our own Avengers-style team of video game heroes and villains. So basically, we have decided on a couple of headings. So 5 headings. Each one's a different role in the team. And we have to go through games that we have played and pick a character from any game that would best suit that role within the team. So we have 5 headings. So we have combat expert, communication expert, recon specialist, a hacker, and a team leader. So by delving through the annals of our gaming histories, we're going to be creating 2 separate teams. And what we're going to be doing at the end of this episode is we're going to be putting it out in a poll underneath who has created the best super team of video game characters, myself or Tom. And that's what we're going to do. So once you listen to this, scroll down and pick a option in the poll. Who wins? Who loses? I think it's going to be me. So without any...
Says the host.
I'm going to just make a load of accounts.
It's like, this is the most engagement we've ever had in this podcast. Why we
Is
had
it?
4,000 votes?
Camera.
And if you're watching the video podcast, Luvva has just
Decimated his
decided to
setup.
turn his camera.
Don't know how that happened.
I don't think that's going to stay either, from the looks of things.
It should be. It's on a clamp.
You'd hope.
It's on a
You'd
clamp.
hope.
This is the outtake, isn't it?
It's a good thing we have an audio medium as well.
Yes.
It definitely helps.
Well, we found our outtake for this week because I noticed last week Cardinal didn't put one in.
Oh, well, see, this is the thing. We're becoming too straight and narrow these days.
Right. So what was I saying? Oh yes,
Our super team.
our
We're gonna
super
pit our super
teams
teams.
of video game characters. Yes, yes, yes. So, without any further ado, shall we just get straight into it, Tom?
I think so.
And to
Yeah.
mix it up a wee bit this week, I'm going to let you go first. So, Thomas, your combat expert, who have you picked? And more importantly, why have you picked this character?
So, if anyone can see the notes, this is very beautiful mind going on here now. So, I'm going to tell you the pick that I had, and I'm going to tell you the pick that I've now locked in.
Oh.
So, my original pick was Goku from the Dragon Ball Z games.
Ooh. I didn't know we could pick that type of video game character. Because if I had known that, my comms expert would be very different.
Oh, I love it. See, like, I loved Dragon Ball Z. I loved all the games as well. I'm kind of getting back into some of them now, the 2D platform or the 2D side-scrolling fighting games as well. Like, and even Goku, him as a character, loves a fight.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Just, always loves a fight and always wants to, but and knows when to show restraint. More importantly,
this is very important.
I then decided that's not what this super team's about.
Oh.
I went with a character that is bred specifically for combat.
Okay.
I went with Metal Gear Rex.
Metal Gear Rex requires a pilot.
Hence why you have a super team.
Okay, fair enough.
I figured go big and then go ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you've certainly went ridiculous here.
When you go a machine that is purely bred for destruction and combat, I don't feel as if there's anywhere else to go beyond that. Okay. And Metal Gear Rex being,
a massive mech,
the ultimate combat weapon
that allows people to fire nuclear missiles from anywhere on the planet, and we even reliably informed by the DARPA chief. So you went with a massive mech. A nuclear-capable mech.
Exactly. Absolutely. I feel as if start strong, go from there.
Nothing says combat like mass genocide, I suppose. I love the way I thought me and you had approached this character from the same sort of angles that from where you started with, but we have went the opposite ways.
Oh dear.
So,
right. Let's equalize this then. Okay. Let's hear your combat expert. Then.
My initial pick was someone who has been reared for combat, and it was Azura from Azura's Wrath. If you remember that game on the 360.
No, that's not something I
believe it's a Capcom game. It's basically just Azura is just very, very, very angry, and the game it's just a series of boss battles. Platinum Games. It was Platinum Games, and basically it's just a series of boss battles. But the bosses get gradually more grandiose as the game goes, and then eventually you're in space, just battling, just this massive being, and just because he's angry. It's a really, really, really good game, but I thought this man has no restraint. So as a member of a team, he's probably not the best shout. So I've went for a pick that no one will be surprised with who I've went for. It's someone who, when you think combat, you think Street Fighter. And when you think Street Fighter, you think of Ryu.
It's Ken, isn't it?
It's Ryu. It's Ryu. It's Ryu. I thought I had Ken. Ken's too impulsive. Ken has a lot to lose as well. He's married. He has kids. He's a lot to lose. I'm not going to risk that man's livelihood. I went with Ryu. So I did basically because Ryu is immensely powerful. He is immensely highly trained. But beyond everything else, he knows restraint. And he has a very strong moral fiber and a moral compass. He will only do the right thing. So I went with Ryu from Street Fighter as my combat expert. And I
do like we both went, my initial pick was a fighting game. At least we had that frame of mind.
Yeah.
I think I've got a bit left field on that. I don't regret that choice, but
we had the same thought process, just reversed.
Until I went, that's not good enough, I don't think.
I need a 60-foot bipedal
Armored mech.
nuclear
Yeah.
warhead wielding armored mech. I also need a pilot, but more about that later.
I also had an honorable mention to Leon Kennedy, but I don't think if he offers as much in terms of Metal Gear Rex or Goku at that matter. But
I think
Leon's been through a lot though that way. That's kind of the only thing I had going for me.
he has been as well, and like I think against all the others, he would be good fun too.
That's it.
You know,
His knife could also stop a chainsaw if needs be.
it can. So you went with Metal Gear Rex, and
I'm
I
gonna
went
confirm.
with
I'm gonna lock in.
okay.
Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear
Rex.
Rex, what a crack! What a shite! What a shite that is! That's incredible. Oh, already that's your Hulk from the Avengers, isn't it?
That's it.
You went Hulk. I went Hawkeye. Right. Well, I'm excited to hear you have as your communications expert, mate. Please regale me.
No, I'm gonna let you go first on this one because as much as I like this, I need to get my words in order before I commit to this
Okay.
one. So
Okay, well, I had again. This one I had two possibles. So the one possible that I've decided not to go with is Mei Ling from Metal Gear Solid. Just basically because she's a communications genius. I mean, she not only she in the game world, in our world, she records your game status and that's where you save and stuff. But in the inside of the game, she's actually recording every codec conversation she has, or every codec conversation
codec and yeah.
Snake has. So she's recording everything. So she's an MI. I think canonically, she's she's an MIT student, and she's on her like what do you call that year when you go out to work experience year. She's on that.
Your placement year, yeah.
Yeah, she's on that, and so she's basically while she's saving, she's recording every codec conversation Snake's having, and in the game world after the Shadow Moses event, it goes to the Supreme Court and they're looking to incarcerate everyone involved. But her recording of the codec keeps everyone involved safe and out of prison and away from any political fallout. She's also, if you remember in the game, she's the one who realizes that Miller isn't Miller, but she realizes it just too late.
Too late.
She realizes,
that's right.
Yeah. So she was the one I thought of initially, but she's not the
because we've got literally communications here. Yeah, that's excellent.
But she's not the one I went with. So she's not. So the one I went with is I'm going to ask you, would you kindly think back to 2007 and remember a game called BioShock? And in BioShock...
Shut your mouth is excellent. It is an excellent pick.
Right? So
that is so good.
Andrew Ryan. My pick is Andrew Ryan because Andrew Ryan
phenomenal.
Manipulates your character in BioShock to do exactly what he wants you to do. But he also manipulates you as the player because we are so trained in video games to do, go there and push A. So you go there and you push A and something happens. And Andrew Ryan takes all that and he manipulates the ever-living life out of the avatar and the player. And it builds up to... It's probably... Is it still the best?
It still is one of my biggest twists.
The best twist in video gaming. Yeah. My pick's Andrew Ryan. He manipulates... He's so good with... He's so good with communication. He tricks us in the real world. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's actually a stroke of genius there. I love BioShock. I still remember when that happens. He doesn't take the mask off. He just drops the Irish accent.
He just drops it completely. He just drops it completely, and then he turns on the light through the glass, and it's just like, "Would you kindly?" And it's like, it's brilliant. I loved BioShock, and I have been waiting to forget the story of BioShock so I can go back and play it. It is 16 years later.
16
years later, I still remember BioShock. and I'm probably never replaying it, but it's never going to leave me. Andrew
Yeah.
Ryan has to go down as the greatest communications expert in video game history, in my opinion. So Andrew Ryan, that's a left field pick, mate.
That is absolute stroke of genius. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit speechless now. This is actually kind of like underwhelm my next pick here. So,
So who'd you go for your communications expert, mate?
so I panicked on this, and originally I did also say Mei Ling,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of glad I didn't know because I was just like, she invented or she developed the codec, so I'm
Mhm.
kind of like, that's a good shout. I also then took inspiration from my brother because I sent him the same same 5 slots,
Mhm.
and I'm going to steal his pick here. I went from Toad from Mario.
Okay.
Because what is
Okay.
Toad? Okay, what is Toad from Mario always in? He's always present. He's in every single room.
He's
He
in the
always
castle.
has something to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
He's
okay. Yes.
always yeah.
That's a
So
shame.
he texted this back, and I was like, elaborate. No, I need this to be justified. He's like, just think about it. He always tells you where to go. He always tells you what to do. He also gives you every move that you need to learn.
Yeah, he
He's
does.
constantly in your ear. And
Yeah.
he's not, not even as a playable character. He's just there as hints, tips. He's just walking
That's,
tutorial throughout the entire game.
that's a shite. That's a great shite.
Yeah.
That's a
So
great shite.
so
He's the original. He's the original tutorial. Like
yeah,
he's the narrative engine in Super Mario Brothers. Sorry,
exactly.
congratulations, Mario. The princess is in our castle. That's brilliant.
So
That's brilliant.
Andy,
That's brilliant. Well done,
big
Andy.
shout out. I'm gonna claim that pick as my own, but Andy gets the honorable mention on that front. My side note on
Shite.
that one was I was gonna pick is it Bottles or Boggles from Banjo Kazooie?
Oh,
He does the exact same thing,
yeah.
but they only get 2 games, whereas Toad's in it for the entire franchise.
The
So
entire. He even
you know,
has his own game
he,
as well, of course.
Toad trumps it on longevity for that front.
Fair
So you
play.
know what you need. You always need a little mushroom man telling you what to do and where to go.
I like it. I like. That's a great shite. That's a left field shite as well. That's a cracker. Well done, Andy. Well done, Andy, for that one.
Very
That's
good. No, I'm
unreal.
very pleased with that one.
That's unreal. Okay, so our next one then is Reconnaissance Specialist. So go on ahead, Tom.
Okay. So for my reconnaissance specialist, I went for someone who is a master
Ooh.
at finding out stuff, but also staying hidden. My man is a fantastic scale of buildings, a fantastic faller of buildings. It's Ezio Auditore de Firenze.
That's a cracker. Oh, I like that one. That's a cracker.
And it stemmed originally from I was going to go for the original Assassin's Creed for Altair because if I remember from my first and probably only playthrough of the first Assassin's Creed, 90% of the missions are recon missions. Essentially, you just listen in
The
on stuff.
eavesdrop missions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that first Assassin's Creed was exclusively recon missions.
Yeah. Yeah. You follow
So
people around and
I
stuff.
feel
Yeah.
like by the time you got to the Ezio trilogy, so you've got Assassin's Creed 2, Revelations, and the other one, Unity? No, maybe?
No. Brotherhood.
Past Brotherhood. Yeah, he's the master.
Oh yeah.
He is the assassin.
It's a great shite.
He's the guy. He's the guy who gets your recon. He's the guy who scouts ahead. He's always in the shadows. He's never seen. I just think he's also the best character of that franchise. I don't think there's really been maybe tied for Black Flag, but
Edward. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
I would say Ezio. I would say Ezio. So that's a cracking shite. And again, you have taken recon as a different meaning from what I have. So there's
Yeah.
loads of different types of reconnaissance, and I went with the military. Sort of one of the military meanings of which is a recce team is someone you send in to test the military capabilities of your enemies in a small skirmish. So I had two. One of them was Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, because who better to send in
Incredible.
to test your enemy's capabilities than Marcus Phoenix? I mean, in the first game, he goes into a hive and gets
Yes.
the whole layout of the hive, which pushes
That's right. The whole
the war.
mapping episode. That's great.
Yeah.
Great mission.
So he was my first pick, and I thought, is there anyone better than Marcus Phoenix? If you need someone to go somewhere, see what the enemy's capable of, and do missions, is there anyone better than Marcus Phoenix? And at first I thought no, until I pushed record, and I was like, actually, I want to change one of these, and I changed it. Do you know who's better than Marcus Phoenix at doing those jobs? How about
Is
the
it gonna be
man
Dom?
that breaks Marcus out of prison? It's Dom Santiago.
What a shout.
What a what a dude. Okay, so Marcus is like a killing machine, but if you want stuff done, you go to Marcus, you go to Dom. Dom's a better character, in my opinion, than Marcus for a very simple reason. One, he is in the first game, he's the grounding of the team. So Gears of War is bombastic. It's dude, bro. Everyone's massive and they're conducting the war. Everyone is just in it for the war, except Dom. Dom's in it to find his wife.
Dom's the only one with a story of such, yeah.
Yep.
Whereas Marcus is like,
Yo.
we only got you up because you are a leader, blah blah blah. Yeah,
I hate them.
that's a good job.
Yeah, so Dom he's our gateway, and he's the human in Gears of War. And then the second one, he's selfless as well. In the second one, he finds his wife. Let's not spoil it, but it's not a happy ending. And then in the third one, he does something very selfless for the human race. Dom as my recon specialist.
What a hero.
What a hero.
What a hero.
What a man. What a man. And the voice acting, beautiful. Like
chef kiss.
What it eats. Cliffy B's baby, and it's the best game series he's ever made. And it's, I would say, arguably Gears of War 1, 2, and 3 is probably the best series of games the Xbox has ever produced.
Oh God, absolutely. I think even for the end of Gears 3 feeling shortchanged, I still think it was I think because they knew that they could, in another next gen of console, they'd make more, which they did.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt cheated out of a good solid conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, I just coincidentally enough, I was reading tweets. So this whole Starfield debacle, I don't know if you're aware of the Starfield going on. It's 30 frames per second, and that's causing uproar on the internet because it's the internet. And loads of game devs are jumping in and saying, just because it's 30 frames a second doesn't mean it's unfinished. It just means that the scope of the game has changed and they can't maintain what they want.
Yeah, I did see that. It's locked at 30 FPS, yeah.
So one of the developers who got in on the discourse is the lead programmer from Gears of War. And he was like, listen, just because it runs at 30 doesn't mean it's unfinished. The games can run at 30 for the X, Y, and Z reasons, blah, 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 blah. This is what I think. As a game developer, this is what I think. And the highest liked reply was, yeah, but what do you know? You killed Dom.
We just said we weren't doing spoilers.
I know, but right. It's what, 12-year-old game?
I feel as if you've never played it by now, you're never playing it.
You're never playing it. And you know what? You deserve to have it spoiled because it's a great game. And he was like, well, actually, no, that was Rod Ferguson's idea. And then they created this whole big thread of all these designer choices for Gears. What happened with the Carmine brothers and all this hair business? That stuff I forgot about. Do you remember Gears 3? Carmine lives, Carmine dies on Xbox Live. Remember that? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All Rod Ferguson.
Amazing.
Genius.
That's a great shout, that.
Yeah, just as an aside, just while we're talking about Gears of War. I totally forgot about that.
Fair play. That's a good reshout. I remember Gears just being the Carmines. That was like the running thing they had for the whole trilogy. But it was like the brothers, all in the masks.
Yeah, Gears 1, he was A Carmine. Gears 2 was B Carmine. Gears 3 was C Carmine. Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Yeah. Brilliant. But
Oh,
yes, my choice as reconnaissance specialist is Dominic Santiago from Gears of War.
that's a great shout, actually.
So that
I
brings
love
us
that.
up to the one I had the most difficulty with. I don't know about you.
This
So
is the weird one for me because I think I nearly came to this one too quickly.
mhm.
And then the more I've sat on it, I'm very pleased with this choice because there's a. Well, we'll get to it. We'll
Yeah.
get to this.
So this here is a hacker. So a hacker. So I came to my decision quick, but like you, I think, is this a good call? Is it too on the nose? But I'm happy with it. So do you want to go first, or do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first. I feel as if you have a bit more of a a gripping divide
Yeah. So
on this pick.
my shout on this one was Bentley from Sly Cooper. You play,
Okay,
okay. So
it's a bit out of my scope, but I'm
Bentley
aware of the
is
character.
he's a turtle. He's just this turtle, but he is your he's the guy with the big glasses. But he is obviously he's a hacker. But he also he does loads he does loads of jobs. So he's basically your mission planner, your hacker, your gadget maker, your explosive expert. He's is
Okay,
like your Q and your M's from James Bond all rolled into one character, and he
nice.
can get his hands dirty as well. Now he can't fight in any of the games, and his missions are usually very very short and they're stealth based. So Bentley could fit into pretty much any role in this team that we have, apart from combat. But he could be a comms expert. He could be your reconnaissance expert.
Yeah.
He is your hacker. So my call was Bentley. Plus, I don't know if I take it you've never played the Sly Cooper games. No.
No, I'm aware of the series, but no, it's not a
Yeah,
game
they're
I'm really
brilliant.
relatively familiar with.
They're really they're brilliant games, and they're funny and they're witty and they look good and they still play good. I think they're on PlayStation. They are on PlayStation Plus, as PS3, so they're stream only. But they play really well as long as your internet doesn't mess about. But he is a fantastic character, and the chemistry between him, Sly Cooper, and the hippo, whose name escapes me at the minute, is just fantastic. It's just the banter between them is just brilliant. It's a brilliant series of games. And the first name that popped in my head when I saw a hacker was Bentley. So
Okay,
Bentley. So who's your choice of
good
hacker?
shout. I had initially, I think whenever I first pitched this to you guys, my first pick was I can't remember his name. The only reason I didn't pick him was because I don't remember his name. But the main protagonist in the first Watch Dogs, I think he's just called Watchdog.
No, he has a name. It's an Irish name, but I can't remember his name.
Hacker O'Callahan or something. But
uh,
that's it. It literally my brain went to that purely on the fact that
Aiden
it's a game
Pierce.
about hacking. That's
Aiden
exactly what it
Pierce.
is. That's exactly what it is, and I hated that. And I just went. I went as soon as I thought it. I went no. I can't remember his name. Sod that. I'm not picking him. So I went with BD1
Air.
from
Yes.
from the lovable Star Wars Fallen series.
Yeah, that's a great shout. In fairness, because he literally hacks all the upgrades for
Yeah,
himself.
you
Brilliant.
get the hacks the upgrades, hacks the doors, hacks the droids.
Yep.
This one, I'm gonna pitch this to death. He also comes with a bonus feature. He gets Cal Kestis with him because he's not gonna go on his own. He's not gonna go on this mission on his own.
Sounds like a cheat. Well, at least you have your pilot now for Metal Gear.
Well, that's it. Cal Kestis knows how to pilot an ATST.
He
Or an
does.
AT-ATs, I should say. Sorry. So I feel as if transitioning that to Metal Gear Rex, it's multi-skill.
It's a bit like cycling a bike, mate.
I feel as if you don't get one without the other. So I'm gonna argue that if you get BD1, you get Cal Kestis.
It sounds like a massive cheat, so it does. We'll let the listeners decide whether
I'm
or
gonna let the
not that
viewers
is a
decide on
cheat.
that one. Yeah.
That's
But
very
I
good.
think plus all the droids in the Star Wars verse are all very hacker based. It's all
Yeah.
get the door, do the thing, electrocute stuff. So yeah, I think BD1 was a pretty solid pick on that one, and I will controversially say that I'm getting Cal Kestis here, so my 5-man team is going to become a 5.5-man team.
Yeah,
We'll say.
yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. When you start talking about Aiden Pierce, and you're like, I didn't go with him. I was like, he's going to go with Marcus from Watch Dogs 2.
I haven't played Watch Dogs 2 actually.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's on PS Plus, and it's brilliant.
nice.
Way better than Watch Dogs 1. Way better. And I quite liked Watch Dogs 1 as well, so I didn't mind it at all.
Like I started it, it was grand. It was the whole deliberate kind of like it's just it's hacking. You can you kind of just let loose into the world really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was fine. It looked fine.
Yeah, fine.
Fine.
Exactly that.
Two's great. 2 is great. And that brings us then to our team leaders. Our team leaders. Now
This is a hard one.
there's a million ways you can take this one. So there are. So I thought to myself, what makes a good leader? So before we reveal our team leaders, Thomas, tell me, what makes a good team leader?
I think personally, a great team leader leads by example, is multi-skilled, is willing to stand side by side by their colleague and brother in arms, and will also just lead by example throughout this. I imagine this is going to be some sort of suicide mission we're sending these on. I don't think.
I mean, clearly
work this part out, but they're gonna walk into the fire with these guys and just be a commanding presence.
And that's it. That is it. I would say a great team leader is someone, like you said, leads by example. He models the behavior that he wants from his subordinates in a team, but he doesn't treat them like subordinates. It's someone who never gives up, even though they may fail. They're not going to give up, and they're going to pick up their teammates and say, "Come on, we're giving this one more go." And if they fail, they just keep on going, just keep on plugging until eventually success comes their way. So, with this in mind, Thomas, my team leader is the often imitated but never equaled, the dastardly, the genius, Dr. Wily from Mega Man.
Amazing.
So, I don't know how many Mega Man games there have been. 11? Not including spin-offs. There's like 30 of the things. This man...
What a really bizarre choice.
This man has never, ever won a single battle he's ever took part in. But he just keeps on coming back for more. So he does. In one of the Mega Man games, the setup is this is not Dr. Wily. It's a different bad guy. So you beat that bad guy, and then it turns out that it actually was Dr. Wily in disguise. I mean, the man's a genius. The man makes all these robots, right? So this is why I picked Dr. Wily. One, he's an iconic video game enemy. So he is. 2, he's a genius. So he's ridiculously intelligent. 3 is he commands respect from the planet because everyone's afraid of Dr. Wily despite the fact he's never won a single battle. And I think in my team especially, he would make a great team with Bentley. Because you think Bentley has all these other he makes these great gadgets, he makes these explosives, Wily makes all they's great robots. They'd be a great partnership, the two of them, in the office, leading the whole team. That's who I went with. So it was Nice.
I like that. That's
yeah, that's who I went with.
Obscure. No, it's not obscure at all. It's a very.
I don't think it is. I was
no.
There was 3 choices I had. Wily was one, obviously. 2 was Robotnik, and 3 was Solid Snake or Big Boss.
Solid Snake, Big Boss is nearly too easy a pick.
He's never failed a mission, mate.
Absolutely, but I mean, this podcast is all about the weird and wonderful. I feel as if Solid Snake would be too easy a pick, too expected.
Yes. So I went,
which is why I went. No, I'm joking.
With Liquid Snake. So he is your team leader, Thomas.
Actually, funny you should say that. Liquid Snake did end up on my honorable mention. He was very much a close second. Because let's face it, he like he's a
He nearly
badass.
succeeded. Seconds in it.
I went discussing what makes a great leader is they lead by example. They stand with their brothers in arms. They just they don't see themselves as more than the rest of the team. They're very much one of the team. They don't leave them to die. Taking all that in mind, I realized that my character disregards all that and prioritizes one other single character, and that is Captain Price.
Mate, what a shite.
Like,
That's great.
I
No,
was
that's
like,
great.
yeah, I was like, Captain Price is in the. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's
All
in
of them?
the majority of the Call of Duty series, if not all of them.
As far as I'm aware, all of them.
I was so confident in this choice up until the part where I remembered about Modern Warfare 2 that he's just so blinded by getting Makarov and all that done. He basically is just like, I don't really care if I send the rest of my team to die. I have the mission in mind.
What? I don't remember that.
He like totally is just like, no, don't care about anything now. Makarov's all that matters. Whatever, like, let's. He kind of just throws all caution to the wind at that point, and no longer becomes about Task Force 141. It becomes about like me and Soap are badasses, like fugitives around the globe, like. So
Yeah, I love it. That's a great shite.
Plus, I was like team leader, Captain Price. You can't get better than Captain.
He won World War II, for goodness sake. He won it.
That man commands respect.
And the whole way through
And
World War II,
mustache.
he had a cigar hanging out of his mouth. That's incredible.
Exactly.
It's unreal.
That mustache, you can't beat that.
That's a great shite. It's a great shite. I'm not gonna lie, it's better than Dr. Wily. I'm not gonna lie. At least your guys won a fight. I knew I should have went with Bison. Shadowloo Corp. So let's bring us back to task. So let's go through our teams here, okay? Let's go through our Avengers / Ocean's 11 team of highly specialized video game characters. So my combat expert was Ryu from Street Fighter. My communications expert was Andrew Ryan from BioShock. My recon specialist is Dominic Santiago. My hacker is Bentley from Sly Raccoon. And then my team leader is Dr. Wily from Mega Man. And your team,
That's
Tomahawk.
Great selection there. I love it. I'm not even surprised by your picks, but I went, so just to confirm everything, my combat expert, Jesus Christ, was Metal Gear Rex.
Yes. What a pick that is. That's crazy.
My comms expert being Toad from the Mario series. My reconnaissance specialist, Ezio Auditore de Firenze from Assassin. I'm going to go specifically Assassin's Creed Brotherhood on that one. I feel as if this is where
the oldest.
Peaked.
That's where he's at his oldest, yeah.
Exactly. This is where he's at his most knowledgeable. He knows what he needs to do at this point. My hacker is BD1 brackets asterisks with Cal Kestis.
Okay.
She's up for debate on that one. So tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm right. And the team leader is the mustachioed king amongst men is Captain Price.
Love it. That's a great shout. I'm still in awe of Captain Price. I can't believe I didn't think of Captain Price. That's brilliant. So it is. It's incredible.
That was an odyssey. That was I don't know. I still don't know what the mission is. I feel as if
I feel like it doesn't really matter what the mission is. I think my team would successfully get through it, if only by sheer grit, determination, rather than any sort of great leadership.
Just a great plucky group of individuals is what you've brought together.
I mean, in hindsight, I'm just thinking here, just after saying that, Dr. Wily has one tactic, and it's make 8 robot lords, and he never deviates from it.
No,
that's the fact it's never won. He's like, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. So that's basically what's going to happen here. My team, Dominic's going to be like, I want to go in there, fight. He's like, no, let's let the robots do it. But they're all blown up. They're gone, mate. They're gone.
Oh, good lord.
Oh,
The things we do for this podcast,
I
We're
know,
just
right?
we're here doing stuff. We're asking the serious questions
We're
here. We're
asking.
changing the face of gaming based entertainment.
I think we're just changing entertainment.
Probably.
So we are, in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, there'll be podcasts about this podcast. High scores, high stakes. What were they thinking?
It was god awful.
So
Cal Kestis can't pilot Metal Gear. He's God no.
he doesn't have to. He can make it move.
I've also realized as well, now that I'm like thinking about this, BD1 could just hack it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if
So-
it has any self-driving capabilities, but just get Elon Musk on it, as the supervillain. Yeah. Just get
Ooh, that's it.
So yeah, I feel having a nuclear warhead carrying 60-foot robot is supervillain type moves here. I think you might be an evil genius rather than
This is it. I
the
mean,
Avengers
am I
here.
leaning towards am I leaning towards evil intentions here,
I
or
think so.
a nuclear deterrent?
Global domination.
I think that before we delve into the psyche of man, should
On
we?
that bombshell of Tom wanting to take over the planet, I think we should get to the wrap up.
Yes, I. Yeah, no, I think the less said on my ambitions, the better.
Yeah. And that is that Tomahawk, mate. We have done another side quest. Quite the odyssey, that one. It's
It was mental overload, I think. Anyways,
Mhm.
but a lot to detox and take away from that.
Yeah, if that was an episode of The Simpsons, it would have been the one where Homer eats the hot chili and winds up following the
In the
coyote.
desert.
But I think before we bring him on another odyssey here, I think we should talk about the socials and how people listening to us can get
so.
involved with the conversations that we are inviting people to take part in. So, first and foremost, if you want to follow us on socials, get yourself over to Instagram. And over there, just search for High Scores, High Stakes Podcast. You'll find us. There, every week, we do little clues, we do little pictures, we do little meme Mondays. We do a lot of different stuff on Instagram. It's well worth a follow. Jump over there and give us a wee follow. If you want to follow us on Twitter, why not do both? But follow us on Twitter. It is at HScoresHStakes. There we do This Day on PlayStation, which I've just remembered that I haven't done one for today. Let's just pretend I know what game came out. But there we do This Day on PlayStations. We do little links to other things. We interact with you all. If you want questions, fire them on Twitter, fire them on Instagram. We'll try to get round to them. If you want to follow us individually on Twitter, I'm at Mr_Luvva_Luvva. Tomahawk is at Tomahawk_HSHS. Mr. John Sherry is at Mr. John Sherry. And Cardinal Smith is at Cardinal_Smith_. We also are available on YouTube in full video format. So if you're listening to this and you want to see what we're talking about a lot of the time, jump over to youtube.com/at High Scores High Stakes, and you can see the entirety of season 1 now. We're uploading those on a weekly basis. And if you want to join in with what we're talking about in the episode, so if you think that you have a better team of video game characters, then why not jump over to our Discord server? So the Discord link is in the description below. Click on it. Tell us what you think of your team. So tell us who you would pick for what role and why. And let's start the conversation. Let's get that rolling. So it is, if you are an avid listener of the podcast and you have done one of the challenges from season 1 that we have done, also on the Discord server, we have a server for every episode. Jump in there, throw in your results, and we'll see if you can join into the leaderboard over there. It's now working. It now goes by score and not name, which is good. So it is. But I think that's all of our. I haven't forgotten anything.
I don't think so. The only thing I can maybe think of is Anchor FM, Anchor.fm, I should say.
Anchor.fm/High Scores High Stakes. If you want to join in for polls and Q&As and all that sort of good stuff. You can also do those in the description if you're listening on Spotify. Those polls and stuff appear in the description below. But I think that is us, Tomahawk. Unless
That
there's
has been nothing pressing, nothing that can't wait till next week. Anyway.
excellent, excellent. So, speaking of next week, until next Monday, I've been Mr. Luvva. This has been High Scores, High Stakes. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.